Alright, ever since I showed you guys that big pile of stuff we're going to review, I got about 100 emails saying, do the snap gun, do the snap gun. So we're going to do the snap gun today. But before we do that, we got to take care of some important business. We need to announce the winner of this Southord Jackknife Lock Pick set. So here is how we did it. We're going to pick them randomly, and you'll see we had, well, the winner is Michael Hoyle. Now, something I noticed, didn't notice it before, but this said there's 1,674 comments that were analyzed, but there really are 2,568. And that's because 894 people gamed the system and put in duplicate, hoping to increase your chances of winning. It doesn't work like that, guys. Still, 1,600 comments in 48 hours, I will never get around to reading them. So I think when we raffle this one off, we're just going to do the comments for 24 hours. And then I'll turn comments off. So I got bombed, guys. It was overwhelming. So anyway, let's get to this. Fellas, this is the Majestic Lockaid. This was the original snapper gun. It was designed, I think they designed it, the first one, about 40 years ago, 45 years ago, and the design really hasn't changed. This is a brand new one. I paid $54.95 for it, 55 bucks. I've had one of these for a little over 6 years in my bag. Mine's much more worn than this one, and I've been very happy with it, I have to say. And I decided to review something that I had a little bit of experience with. A couple reasons I chose this. First of all, it was the very first one, and second of all, it comes with a little instruction book, but comes with a lifetime warranty. So I don't think you'll get anything like that from any of the Chinese sellers. It comes with a registration card, blah blah blah, parts kit. Anyway, what do you get? Well, in the box, of course, is the gun, and then I've already got one needle mounted on it, but you get a total of 3 needles. These are spring steel. I got to tell you, they are not the highest quality needles. They're functional, they're pretty hard, but if you snap a lot of locks, you're going to find that this type of needle bends pretty quickly. You're going to want to replace it with higher quality steel. There's a lot of harder, more durable ones out there. This is just a simple tension wrench. You do have to use a tension wrench with this tool, and they give you one inside the box. Alright, so let's take a look at the parts. You got the trigger, obviously, and I want you to think of this as a universal bump key, because that's exactly what you're doing. You're putting the needle in the keyway, and then holding it level, of course, and then you're pulling the trigger, which then causes this, with a lot of energy, to snap up, hit all of those pins just like a bump key does, and hopefully push them up into the cylinder and reach the shear line if you're lucky. It's a game of statistics. If you're lucky, they all reach a shear line at the same time and you get in. So let's talk about that part, the lucky. A lot of you guys, especially new pickers, I did it myself. I thought, this is like magic. Dude, this will open all locks. If I had one of those, I won't need to buy any picks. I'll just walk around with it in my pocket, and if I walk by a lock and snap this thing, that lock will pop open. I wish that were true, because I could save a lot of money on picks, and so could you. This, it does work, but it will not open certain locks, and we'll talk about that. What kind of locks will it open? What's the ideal lock? Well, this is a Defiant, but it's actually a knockoff of a Kwikset. You can see it right there on the key. Here's what the bitting on this one looks like. I chose this because we've got those high cuts, but to make it a challenge for the snapper, that's the lowest possible cut for a Kwikset or for a Defiant. So if we can snap this open, we can probably snap open almost all Kwiksets and Defiants. So it has to have a wide open keyway, because as I said, that needle has to be able to hit those key pins. If you have something paracentric, for example, if you live in Europe and you have something, let me turn it around so you guys will recognize it. There you go. A paracentric keyway like that, there's no way that a snapper can get in there because it can't get access to those pins. Likewise, if you have a bent keyway, we call that a paracentric keyway or curved keyway like this one, there's really no way a snapper can get up inside of there. So first requirement, you have to have a wide open keyway. Second requirement, you want to have no security pins. If you have security pins, the snapper gets quite a bit more challenging to get into the lock. So preferably no security pins. And the last requirement is the lower the number of the pins, the better your chances of getting in. So this has 5 pins. There are no security pins, and it's a wide open keyway, so we're going to use this one for the demo. It does have some good bidding, but that really is the only thing going for this Defiant. Alright, so how do we use this lock? Let me get this stuff out of my way. I'm going to need the tension wrench. Hold this up here, and go ahead and get the lock mounted. Alright, I showed you the trigger. I showed you how to use that. Very easy. But before we look at that trigger, there's something else here. We have one other control we need to mess with. All the lock pick snappers that I've seen have some kind of adjuster like this. This one is marked L for low energy and H for high energy. Now, I know you guys, you probably live on Red Bull, I know, but we don't want to go high right away. If you want to increase your chances of success, go ahead and turn it all the way down to low and then turn it back about 2 turns, and that's it. You want to start out with as low a tension as possible, because the higher it is, the larger the swing on this needle, the more room it will require in the keyway, and then of course the larger the swing, the better your chance of hitting the side or a piece of the warding. Ideally, this needle, when you pull the trigger, it will go directly and hit those pins. If it bounces off of the side or a piece of warding, then the energy is being stolen out of this needle. It doesn't have a lot of kinetic energy to it. Pretty light needle. So if it hits anything else, all the energy is going to be absorbed by that piece of warding or by the side of the lock. So we want to put this in perfectly level. Let's see if I can turn this. We want it level with the lock. If you cockeye it like this or like that, that needle's not going to hit all those pins at the same time. And if you want success, that's really what you have to do. Likewise, when you put it in from the front, you want it to go straight in. I'm going to move the camera here. If you turn it like that or like that, you're going to be hitting the warding or the side. So as straight as possible, and that will increase your chances of getting inside of there. All right, let's try it. Let's quit talking about it and do it. All right, tension in the bottom. Now I know you guys see me preach top of the keyway, top of the keyway. Everything's top of the keyway, but if you do that and then you use the snapper, that needle is going to strike the bottom of your top of the keyway, and that will absorb all of the energy. It actually protects your pins, and you just can't do that. So don't. Alright, so light tension here. Slide it in just as level as you can get it. And now you might think this is where the magic occurs, but in fact, I like to give it about 10 snaps usually. Keep light tension. Well, we got it. Okay, so it's quite surprising to get it that quickly. Usually it takes 10 or 15 snaps, and then if it doesn't open, go ahead and take your tensioner, put another turn on it to increase the swing and increase the energy that's transferred to those pins, and that'll increase your chance of getting in. So there you go. That's how you get into a simple lock. Just remember, this is not the cure-all. This does not open all locks. It's not a piece of magic. It really isn't. I wish it were, but it's perfect for fairly simple locks, non-paracentric, no security pins, and then a low number of pins. And coincidentally, those are the same kind of locks that are easy to SPP or rake. This will do it a little faster, I'll grant you that, but this isn't the cure-all, guys. So if you're a beginning picker, I would not recommend you buy this right away. Hold off, guys. Learn how to pick, learn how to SPP, learn how to rake them open, and then at some point, if you want to go faster, or you want to, if you're working in a shop and you got to pick a bunch of locks quickly, simple locks, this would be a great tool to do that with. But until then, invest your money in practice locks, picks, and practice. So anyway, we're going to raffle this off, brand new LockAid. Go ahead and make a comment. You can tell me how goofy I am, and that doesn't really matter, because if thousands of them come in, I probably won't have time to read them anyway. Send a comment in the next 24 hours. I will then turn off the comments. I'll run the random chooser, and I'll announce the winner of this brand new Majestic Lockaid. Anyway, fellas, thanks for your time. Stay safe. Stay legal.